And welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Coming at you from Martin Creek State Park in Tatum, Texas.
And that is in extreme East Texas, pretty far north, about 20-something miles from Marshall.
Yes, and 11 from Longview.
And so, just in that area, which is a absolutely gorgeous part of the state.
And it's a pretty park.
It is. We want to be just real up front. We want to be real up front.
Okay.
We want to be real honest with you and just tell you we may not be the best people to give you a full assessment of the park.
Yes.
And the reason for that is because this park has Argentinian ants.
And they are highly invasive species. They are at Lake Tawakoni State Park and Cedar Hill State Park. We visited Tawakoni.
We were in a branch that they said probably wouldn't have as many. What I was told whenever I went to Cedar Hill and just spent part of a day there, I asked the girl as I went in, I said, "How are the ants?" And she said, "Oh, they're terrible." And I said, "Oh, really?" And she said, but she had been living there for 3 months in her RV working there, and she'd had no problems at all because you can treat for them. And so we've done that. We've treated around the tires. We've treated around the landing gear. We chose not to put down our stabilizing jacks because that was 4 more points of contact we could do without. We treated around the electric cord, anything that comes in. The tires, the water.
The tires on the van.
And we haven't had any problems, but we have limited what we've done. We haven't set out, and that's something we've missed, is being able to sit outside and have our breakfast and drink our coffee and, you know, talk to people walking down the road. We enjoy doing that.
Yes.
And we've chosen not to do that. There have been an awful lot of people who have chosen just to go on and set up everything outside. There are people in tents, and
That's great.
they may have no problems. We don't know.
But I do know that from having read reviews, if you get those ants in your stuff, it's hard to get rid of them.
And so that's why we've chosen not to do that. Even down on the fishing pier, there were some, but then just on the little boat launching things that people were fishing off of and people swimming off of, there were a lot of ants there.
Yes.
So, having said that up front, that's why we've enjoyed our time here.
Yes.
I am glad we came here.
We'd wanted to stay here.
And it is a beautiful park, but it did cramp our style.
Yes.
So that's kind of the point of this whole long rambling.
We got our bikes out. We rode our bikes. It was great.
We rode our bikes around the park, and then we got out and there was a small road, and we rode that road out a long way.
Yes.
I don't know, 2 or 3 miles out and back. And it's just been absolutely beautiful. We did go out and fish. This lake, this park,
Yes.
is built on a lake, and I was talking with a man yesterday, and I asked him what the plant was over here. I wasn't positive. He said it is a power plant. It is a coal-powered electric plant, and there's been talk of shutting it down because it's coal-powered, but that the power plant actually owns the lake.
Yes.
And they gave the land here to the state for a state park. But he did say winter fishing is wonderful. That
Yes.
it's very popular because it helps keep the water warm and the fish active and everything. So it is a pretty park. This is a gator park, and so we hadn't come here before.
And this is one of the few parks where at the water we've seen signs about snakes in the water.
There's one that just it's like an informative telling you what kinds of snakes are indigenous to the area that are water snakes. And so one of the cool things about this park is there's an island.
Yes.
And a nice bridge that goes across to the island, and that's where the walk-in sites are.
Yeah, the primitive camping is over there, and quite a few people over there, really.
And that's so they've got their stuff set up, and there's some trails that go around in the on the island, and it just gives you a different perspective of the park, and just kind of neat because it's the only park we've been to where there is an island. And so that's a fun thing. This park lists specifically that it has cabins, cottages, and screen shelters. And based on the size of those,
Yes.
we're pretty sure we know the difference.
The cabins have more than one room. I think they have a bathroom, and they may have some separate bedrooms.
And some furnishings.
Yes.
Along with that. The cottages, the difference between the cottages and the screen shelters, I think the main difference is air conditioning.
Yes.
They're both smaller, and you bring anything other than, but there's electric at both.
Yes.
But one actually does have windows and air conditioning. And so,
But it has, I don't think it'll have cots or anything inside.
but we've seen a lot of people at those screen shelters. Those have been heavily used here.
Yes.
I mean, heavily used. And it may be because it's easier to treat for ants there. I don't know.
I don't know.
But then the
screen shelters are just what they say they are.
And so the camping loops, there are some campsites, water and electric, over in that screen shelter loop, and then there's another loop that is just campsites. And this summer of 2020, I think they're limiting capacity here probably at around 50%.
Yeah.
And it's been great. We are we've enjoyed our time here. We really have.
And we don't want to sound like we haven't enjoyed it. We have. We've enjoyed other parks without the ants a bit more.
Yeah, and like I said, the main difference is of a morning or evening we're able to sit out and just enjoy being outside, and that's really what we do enjoy when we can. And here it's been comfortable enough we could have been, but it is a beautiful park, and
It's kind of a little park.
it is small. Every morning Theo and I have gotten up and walked, we measured it with our bikes, and it was right at 2 miles, and we had covered virtually all the roads in the park.
Yes.
And so it's got kind of a big feel
Yes,
to it.
it does.
Really does. The day use area, one of the things I really like about their day use area is every picnic table down there has a cover,
Yes.
and it has sides.
Yes.
So that slatted sides, so that you can get in the shade at some point if you need to. And so that's really nice.
And that swim area has had people in it every day. I mean,
most
lots
of the
people
day.
are using it.
Yeah, most of the day. They probably live in Gator Country and are a little more comfortable with that than we are. But the day use has been, and the boat ramp. This is yesterday morning before 7. There were about 9 boat trailers out there already, and so.
And I think at some point the park rented
Canoes.
boats or canoes. Yeah, canoes.
Yeah, and they probably will again
But
once.
they don't right now.
Yeah,
during COVID.
And so, but we've seen lots of families out here. We've seen, it's really cool.
Fathers and sons.
Yeah, there's a father and son across. They are making some memories over there.
Yes, they are.
And anyway, it's just, we've had a great time, but it's like she said, we'd stayed at Tawakoni, but the woman told us we were kind of in a loop that the ants weren't
We
as
still
bad.
treated.
We treated.
And it was raining, so we weren't sitting out anyway.
But here we've really seen the ants, and
There are a bunch of them.
and so, taking them pretty seriously. But like I said, there are an awful lot of folks that are here that they've had their chairs out, they've been sitting out, they've had campfires, they're leaving their bikes out and stuff like that. We've just, even when we went fishing, because there had been some ants, they weren't as bad as they were at Cedar Hill.
No.
Cedar Hill, if you
horrible.
set anything down, it was covered in ants out in the fishing area. But when we got back, we had a plastic tub in the back of the van. We'd had some other stuff in, got it out, put Sevin dust in there, and put our fishing bags in, just to kind of see how things went. And we've treated, and what we had been told was, if you treat, you shouldn't have any problems, and that's held true for us. But I am glad we came here.
I am too.
It is a beautiful park, and it's just kind of a shame that. And by the way, that gurgling, she's making some tea, and so the coffee pot's making a weird noise over there.
Because of the ecology, the Texas state parks will not treat with. They will not.
They're limited in what they can
Yes.
use to treat for ants.
And so they're going to keep ants.
Yeah, they've been working on some sort of a solution from what we've been told.
With
but
A&M, I think.
but they're having a really rough time trying to come up with something that will work with these ants, and so they've got ants. And but we've had a great time here.
Yes.
Like we said, we've been very cautious. And so, and that is one thing I want to say is I did see somebody over the way. They had treated around their tires. They had treated around their landing gear. They'd put their stabilizing jacks down. They treated around that, but then they'd left the chains and the electric cord that plugs into the truck on the ground.
And all
nothing.
it takes is an entry point.
At Cedar Hill, the lady told me that a lot of times that people don't look at the roof, especially on fifth wheels, and if a branch if a leaf blows where it touches on that roof, then the ants will get on there. So like we said, that's just something we wanted to be very cautious of. We didn't want to get ants. We're going to other parks. We didn't want to take them there. We didn't want them in our stuff, and so that's just kind of why we are saying that we may not be the best people to give a review of the park because we have limited ourselves. We have fish. We've done really the only thing we didn't do is sit out and enjoy sitting out morning and evening, but that is something we enjoy. But anyway, we have enjoyed our time here, and we are getting ready to pack up and head down the road in just a few minutes. So thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers, and we'll see you down the road.